And we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Hello and welcome, Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson, and this podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out, original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Well, Odell Beckham Jr. tells the Wall Street Journal that he feels like the 2020 season shouldn't happen, only to later find out Mary Kay Cabot says she reports that he's not opting out or anything like that. We're going to go ahead and discuss the confusion here with that coming up. Also, David Njoku announced on Twitter that he's back and does not want to be traded. Weird how that happened. I have my opinions. Andy has his. I think we're on the same wavelength with this one. And Jarvis Landry is on the PUP list, but he'll be ready to roll for the season. Don't worry about that. Shane Bieber, wasted start. Great on Thursday, and that was the end of the Tribe highlights in Minnesota after losing 3 in a row to the Twinkies with a grand total of 4. Count them, 4 runs in 4 games. Are you fucking kidding me? All right. Are we pushing the batting panic button? Look, I'm already like I don't know if I'm panicked. I've seen this movie before, Andy. That's all.
I've not broken a television yet, so no, not yet. No.
The Tribe heads to Cincinnati for Andy's favorite rivalry, the Ohio Cup.
That's right.
You know what though? It's starting to feel more like a rivalry to me because of how often I see Trevor Bauer annoying the shit out of me on Twitter regarding it. We're going to wrap up with college football returning this fall. Maybe.
Big Ten's a maybe.
But first, it's strange for us to do this in the past couple of weeks. First, your Cleveland Browns.
That was a tough weekend in baseball. That was putrid hitting. I'm hoping the trip to bring back the Ohio Cup will give the trick to this team. It was tough. That was a elongated weekend. Thank God.
We're not starting with the Browns.
Well, we're going to talk about the Browns. I just got to get that off my chest. That was fucking torture.
No, I know. It's that bad.
It was that bad.
Even when the Indians aren't leading, they're leading right now because of the bad stuff, and that's pissing me off. I know. I got
At least the Indians are safe and there's no COVID-19. That's good. Everything else this weekend was not. Aside from Shane Bieber, usually, leading off to the Browns, usually in the past, I've defended OBJ. I've been trying to be in support of him. I do think a lot in the past stories, he's been misread, mislabeled, misconstrued about what he's trying to do on and off the field. This is one of the few times I'm going to be probably on the opposite side of Beckham here. The article that came out today in the Wall Street Journal, he talks about, it was actually just a simple article about how's your life, Odell Beckham in 2020.
It was short, sweet,
very short, not in depth, just a short interview back and forth with a reporter. And in the middle, she asked a simple question. Hey, what do you think about so many words. What do you think about the season coming back? And he said in so many words back, I just don't know if I want to play. And actually, to use the exact quote, he said, I just feel like the season shouldn't happen. And I'm prepared for it not to happen. I wouldn't mind not having it. Later, after that article came out, that came out this morning on Monday, August 3rd. Later in the day, Mary Kay Cabot came back and said, I've heard from sources he is definitely not opting out. He's coming back for the Browns this year. Here's my whole thing on this. I've been trying to be supportive of him. Again, I think at times he does get picked on. I think too many times people really do not treat him fairly. However, in this case here, I don't think he said what he should have said in this article. It brings attention to himself. He says something like this before he even gets into Berea. If you feel that way, if you get into the Berea, I'm fine with it. If you feel that way and you're going to opt out, I'm fine with it. Meaning like there's an opt-out plan. He's not going to make as much money, but he can opt out. And I'd be fine with that if he wants to opt out. I just think with everything that's going on, Jared, and everything I've been seeing, this is the first time why I'm not understanding why he did this article unless he wants to bring attention to himself. Other than that, I'm not understanding it. I don't get it. I don't think it came off well at all.
I don't think it's that deep. That's where I come from on this. I don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's a big deal. I almost think it's throwaway. We know that he said this prior to J.C. Tretter. Now it puts the Players Association and it puts J.C. Tretter possibly in a weird spot because of the timing of when the article comes out. But it's not, the agreement that the players signed and that Tretter has been touting, wasn't done when he made these comments. First of all, second of all, it felt very the whole article felt throwaway, to be honest. It didn't even seem. The only reason it was printed was because it was Odell Beckham Jr. There was nothing to it. There was no storyline. There was nothing. It was kind of like a checking in on a friend, 600 words. I don't even know how many words the article was. It was not anything.
It was not long.
In depth, nothing.
It was not long.
So, did he put his foot in his mouth a little bit? Sure, maybe timing wise, yeah. But again, I just don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's that deep. He's going to be there. Now, here, granted, I'll say this. Cleveland media is going to grab onto it. I get it. All of us, we are too, grabbing onto it. He said these words. We're all going to go with it. We're all going to talk about it. Mary Kay quickly came out and said, look, he's not opting out for the season. He's going to stick around. He wants to play. Now, when he saw all the safety protocols and everything that have been put in line and put in place, he's not worked up about it. But I don't think at this time in this country, with this situation, this panic, that we can really be upset with anyone who flip-flops or waffles or changes their mind or expresses doubts about anything, because I haven't seen anything that has given me any feeling of warm and fuzzies or certainty. I don't give a shit I don't care if you sanitize. None of it is gonna take away the fact that there is still inherent risk no matter what, right? So there's gonna be players that are going to be nervous about dealing with this. And if he said that, he's probably saying what a lot of players are thinking. I'm sorry, he is. Now, I think that the worst part, the hardest part to deal with is maybe the comments that he made regarding the owners not caring about the players. That, I think, probably is a more important statement than the statement about not worrying about whether, not caring if the season goes or not. I think that's a bigger statement in the long run, in the long term of things. But we also know that has been a long-standing dispute between players and ownership anyways. All that said, though, I'm over it. I read it. It didn't seem that big of a deal to me. That's where I stand, Andy. No big deal.
I'm on the opposite with this one. He is Odell Beckham. When you say things like that, it's going to garner a lot of attention. Sure. It also puts the Browns in a no-win situation because the Browns can't comment on it. I think it's unfair for them to question it, and it puts a weird vibe into the team. It doesn't feel good, and at the same time, I don't think he should have said that pre-Berea. If he says that post-Berea or during Berea, I get it. But to say something like that when your teammate is J.C. Treader, who worked really hard as the NFLPA to come up with a deal, to come up with something, and he comes out with an article 3 or 4 days before this article comes out saying, hey, here's why I'm happy. And he's been very guarded about the year. But he's actually excited coming out with an article talking about how much things have progressed forward. Jared, it's just one of those things where I don't know if I understand him saying what he said in that article in that time without him experiencing what's going to be happening in Berea first. Now, all that to be said, you're right. Everybody has a right to waffle. Everybody has a right to do all the stuff. But in this case with him, he needs to start taking moments where it goes, hey, why don't you take in everything that's going on first and then coming out with your thoughts? Because he does that and he did that. And Jared, it takes all the attention onto him. And the Browns can't say anything. Can't say anything.
They don't have to.
No, Jared puts a weird vibe on the team.
I mean, maybe a little.
No, it's always this way. It's always the Browns can't get off to a clean start. And this is just a little weird thing again. And again, I don't understand why he said that when he did. I don't get it. Why do this?
Because he's feeling it. That's what he's feeling.
Well, I don't think the timing was good at all on it. Doesn't feel good.
I mean, it's not up to it. I mean, it's not up to us how it feels is how it, whatever. It's how he's feeling. I mean, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
How about this? I probably would agree with you there with some people in the building. However, with a new coach and everything that's going on, the Browns need as much, which they've been doing a great job of keeping things internalized and keeping things in that inner circle. This is the first thing that nothing contributed outside of Beckham, where he's throwing stuff out there. It takes attention away from the season.
But part of that attention away is just for the fact that he is who he is, and he can't even avoid that.
Yes,
right?
He can. He doesn't have to say things like that.
Okay, he doesn't have to say things like that, but really, that to me was a quick phone call answer. He answered it. Maybe he thought he shouldn't have said it afterwards.
That's all. And
fair. we also know this too, Andy.
That's all fair.
You knew what you were getting, and I'll be honest. If this is what we're and we have overblown so many things that Odell Beckham Jr. has done over the years that it's almost like, what are we like? It's not that big of a deal. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't.
I think it's a bigger deal than you think, but
I don't think it should be.
Well, Jared, when you read something like that, it's like, again, it's the first time with the Beckham thing where I read, I was like, because then he comes, like, if he stayed there, I get that. Like, if he was staying in that direction, now that's a different story. He comes out with that, it immediately comes back with, hey, I'm retracting it I was 2 weeks too soon. Now that I'm in Berea, I get that. And that's the thing with Beckham that maybe I just have not been observing as much. He does this a lot where he says something, it's like, oh man, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. Here's what I'm really meaning. This is the third or fourth time he's kind of had some retractions.
Well, I mean, hey, again, he is who he is. He's a guy.
Way,
he's a guy who wants to be the best wide receiver. You can tell he's got some. Well, and I don't know whether there's probably going to be people who don't agree with me on this. I think he might have some insecurity issues. We know that he's had, he's spoken up about, feeling kind of depressed about how he's dealing with the media in New York. We know that there's some other things going on there that, you know what, I guess maybe why I'm not beating him up so badly is because I've talked into a microphone for the past 15 years, 16, 17, 18 years, 20 years actually of my life, maybe longer. I've put my foot in my mouth
we all
a handful of times over the past however many decades that I've been doing this.
Right.
I think if at worst, that's maybe what Odell did. And I can't lose my mind over it. If this were someone else, I'm trying to think of someone else on the team that would say something like this. I would we feel any differently? Would it have gotten the attention? Would it have, do you know what I mean? Would it have been throwaway?
The thing is, a Wall Street Journal article is not a throwaway. It's not clevelandfandom.com.
It's not, but man, that article really was a throwaway. I'm sorry I read it. I just felt like it was a throwaway.
But see, Jared, you're hitting my bigger point here that I'm saying. Why did he do this?
He can't help himself.
Well, Jared, I think this time it's weird. I think you're right on some levels, but I think internally for the Browns, this is a hard, impossible situation.
If you want to talk about the, yeah.
Because if you're the Browns, hey, it's COVID-19 world. I totally get his insecurities. Hey, it's COVID-19. I totally get why he's wondering, hey, what's going on in the season. But the way that statement came off, though, I'm sure that there's others who have reached out to me who've been in the league. One person in particular who was in an organization for two different teams said it would make me wonder how much he wants to play. And in this year in COVID-19, that's a totally understandable thing. But that's what that gave off to me too. It's like, well, does he really want to play? And now that he says I don't know. It just came.
I mean, Andy, this is a guy who wakes up, the guy is working out every single day. I'm not worried about whether he wants to play. I mean, the guy is putting in the work.
No, he does. I just
on his own. I mean, and it takes motivation to want to do that on your own. It really,
Jared, I was on your plane. I was on your plane with Beckham. I was on that plane. Today's the first time I'm saying, why did you do that? I just don't understand the positiveness or why this is good for the Browns 2026.
No, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's good for it.
But I'm not saying,
at all.
I don't think it's good for Beckham. So I don't understand why he did this. This is the first thing he's done. I'm like, I don't understand why he did this. I don't understand. It's a throwaway article.
Well, I'm with you on that.
It's like
neither of us understand it.
No, I don't understand it. And it brings up questions. It's like in the past articles explaining the Giants, explaining other things. He wore shoes because he had some things on he wanted to do on the field. Other times he's bringing on conversations, the Tom Brady thing, which was weird, but okay, we put up with it. This is the first time he's done something where I'm like, unless it's intention seeking, I don't understand why he did it.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out on Instagram tomorrow.
Sure we will. And again, I'm still in the Beckham camp.
Absolutely.
However, this is the first time where I'm like, I can't explain this. I'm not going to explain it. I thought it came off bad. I thought this did not come off well.
I can understand if the Browns organization is a little irked by it.
It's a tough pill.
I think I'm just sitting here thinking there's so much There's so much to deal with right now in the world. There's so much worse. There's so much that, and he's not out there. He's not breaking protocol. He's not out there running around causing trouble. He just said something that people don't necessarily agree with. He said things that some people are probably thinking in the back of their heads. And whether he should have said it or not, great. I know that most would probably debate, no, he shouldn't have said it because of the timing but at the same time, at the end of the day, oops, clean it up if you can. Talk to JC. As long as him and Treader are okay, you know what I mean? Like, I think that if that relationship, I don't even know what that relationship would even be, to be honest with you.
By the way, that's another question.
Right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. So time will tell. Like everything else with this fucking team, time will tell. Time will tell.
I'll leave it here. All Jared saying is not crazy to me. However, this is the first time with Beckham, I don't see any positives. I don't see any positives with this.
If you're putting it in that box of seeing a positive, I'm with you. I don't see a positive either, but I don't necessarily, even the negative, I'm not sweating it. I'm just not.
I just hope this does not, and I don't think it will, but I just, here's my last thought. Beckham with statements like this, he's had other moments, needs to realize taking everything in first and then coming out with a statement will appear much better than you saying something 2 weeks later you're experiencing it. And he's had this a few times now where he said something and then he's readjusted later in the press, and it's not the first time. This is the
you can tell that there are parts of him where, and I hate to compare him to LeBron, but I try to think when he's saying things in an article, he's saying certain things with purpose, right? He brought up the Aura ring on purpose, right? There's some marketing in that. Sure. He brought up some other things you can tell are placements, right? They are free advertisement placements. Thank you, Wall Street Journal.
Sure.
So you wonder if that's calculated, and we all know how calculated the statements are that LeBron makes, if he's thinking that he's being calculated with these statements. Then again, they don't feel very calculated. That felt like a very in the moment comment about what he was feeling. Again, if that's all it was him being honest, I cannot fault honesty.
That's true.
That's where I get a little bit like, we've all been in a situation where you're not going to sit there and lie. I'm sorry. I hate towing the corporate fucking line. I did it for a long time while I was active duty in the military and working in public affairs in that career field. You're towing a corporate line in a sense. Obviously, the military is not the same as corporate America, but
sure,
those ideals, those the sticking to the strategic talking points and so on, rightly or wrongly, is what is expected of everyone across the board, right? And when one person doesn't do it the way that is expected, and yet they're being honest, they get beat the hell over it. Get in line. Who do you think you are? What do you mean you don't feel safe? Look at what you're doing to everyone else. What do you, like?
I just feel this, bud.
We all value our own autonomy in this country. Yet anytime somebody gets out of line, no true Scotsman, you treat them like shit. And not you personally. And I know that's not necessarily what's happening to Odell here. I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit.
I was going to say, I think, here's the thing. Beckham has got to start cleaning this shit up. Period. In a sentence. LeBron said statements. I never felt he retracted this much ever. This is the third or fourth time Beckham's had to retract stuff.
Yeah.
He's always confused. Always something. Oh, I didn't mean that. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's more there to it. I mean, again, Odell's not LeBron.
Again, no, he's not.
I didn't mean to make that a comparison when I brought up that, but I was just trying to analyze a little bit more the statements, the purpose. It wasn't
this statement though is a lot bigger than just him. It's about a whole thing that's going around, and it's hard on the Browns too. I actually have sympathy for them because there's a lot that's going on there too that they're trying to get ready for the season on, and they're trying to get ready. It's something they've never dealt with either. And I'm not saying he did that to inflict tension on the Browns. I don't think he did. But it comes off that way, especially with someone in the building like J.C. Treader, who worked on this NFLPA agreement, came to everything, says a kumbaya type of message last week, and you get this. It's just weird.
Cool. Then you know what you do. Then you know what you do as a team. Then you know what you do as a coach and as a team. You grab, you pretend. What do we call it now? You imaginary hug, whatever it is. You put your arm around the guy.
Oh, that's all true.
And you say, look. I get it. I get that you're feeling a little bit apprehensive about the season. I get that you don't feel safe. We all feel that same way. But do us a favor. Let's talk to each other a little bit. Let's not make this a me to the media and bypass everyone. If you want to do that, but that takes real leadership. And I do think Stefanski has that ability.
And Andrew Berry.
That takes people without ego to be able to swallow their own pride and not come at him all pissed off like they're going to teach him a lesson. Right? You got to come in there and you got to put your arm around him and go, hey, we're family here.
Well, by the way,
and I don't know how you were treated in New York, but listen, we're going to take care of you. And if you don't feel safe, let's talk about it.
By the way, I agree with you there. That's the whole look. Now moving forward, that's what I'm sure they will.
I think they will.
Stefanski comes off very much like this. Again, last thing, and I'll get off this horse. This is the first time I felt someone with Beckham where I'm not understanding the ending message outside of attention.
Yep. Understandable.
Because again, and that'd be my only advice to him. I do think he's a good person. I still want him on this team. But articles like this, take in everything that comes in first and then spit it out.
I think that if Odell, this takes time and experience, right? He has become the person he is because of the life, because of the experiences that he has had. It shaped him in that way. If this team is gonna be a team and play like a team,
absolutely,
this might be new for him in that way, in that sense. And let's hope that it works out that way to where they, maybe he changes even, some things for the better for himself over time. I have a really good feeling about we talk about emotional intelligence, on the show every once in a while. I bring up that, that EQ conversation. And I think that this is one of those moments where, you can use a little more emotional intelligence in regard to, speaking to that situation that Odell was speaking to. But I think that if it's handled correctly, that everyone can get better from it. But, again, very well, not that deep, but I think that it can be, I hate to say learning experience, but a learning experience. Is there a better fucking term that I can say right now? Don't have one coming to mind.
Oh, wow. Moving on. I'll be there. I'll be cheering him on.
Here's another learning experience.
The Browns always love learning experiences. I thought this was the first hiccup in this season. Just a little hiccup. Not a bad one, a little hiccup.
I was saying on to the next one. David Njoku learning that his value in the trade market is nilch, non-existent. He is an unproven tight end who ain't done shit, period.
On Saturday, August 1st, David Njoku on Twitter. I'm all in, Cleveland. Time to work. It followed up with some comments from Adam Schefter. He talked to Drew Rosenhaus's agent, quote, some good meetings with the new Browns organization, including GM Andrew Berry, and he has decided to give the team his full commitment right now and go from there, end quote, Drew Rosenhaus said. This all goes to Berry and Stefanski. Stefanski, even before these comments, made a comment on Thursday last week saying, hey, we're excited to have him in. I've not talked to him. I'm excited to have him in.
Right.
Stefanski massaged this one over, has won him over. Njoku, I think, probably started reading up some things. He goes, oh, my gosh, Stefanski runs a 2 tight end offense. So maybe, it won't be just Hooper out there. It's going to be me too. And Stefanski loves a 2 tight end offense. I'm glad this all worked out. Same. I still don't have any faith in Njoku at all. Nope. But hey, maybe, by the way, if Stefanski can ever work magic and get him turned around, fantastic. I'd love to see it. And I'm rooting for it. As a Browns fan, it would be good. I do think this was the proper call from Njoku. He really should stick to this phrase, I'm all in on Cleveland, time to go to work, because that will reward him, I think, on and off the field. And let's see it now. Let's see it.
So here we go. I feel like I'm giving Njoku a little bit of a break here too. There's some issues there, some trust issues. This is a guy who is probably heard enough from the veterans in the locker room seen enough from the couple years that he's been here and said, fuck this, I'm out of here. I don't care. I'm not gonna waste my career here in Cleveland. I'm never going to flourish. I can never become the best player that I want to become. Get me the hell out of here. And it's easy to feel that way in Cleveland. I know I beat up on him because I thought, what are you doing? You're on a rookie contract. Who the hell do you think you are? Right. And again, there you go. That's the ego issue that I think that a coach would come at him with. Who the fuck do you think you are? But it doesn't seem like they've done that. And again, emotional intelligence seems to be ruling the day. These guys have somehow brought him on board. Look, now, don't get me wrong. They're going to make him earn it. He ain't going to get on the field if he doesn't earn it. But at the same time, they have got the fact that they are getting buy-in, Andy, is in itself an accomplishment we have not seen in the city of Cleveland for 20 years. So 25 years, if you want to be real about it. So, right. I mean, so 26, 27. I mean, there was 95. With Belichick, and there was with Belichick and they left. Oh, fuck. I'm going to cry for a minute. Okay, I'm good. So this works out as in a sense, and we'll see. I still cannot believe though that Rosenhaus kind of, I mean, I know it's his job to represent his players in that, that way, but boy, it seems like that was for being the guy that everyone goes to. Rosenhaus seemed to have made a misstep, a miscalculation with this entire situation. And that is that's a bad look for him, I think. Even more so possibly than Njoku, considering how young and impressionable that he is. And just a guy who wants to go somewhere and win is probably my guess.
I think there's many things that you said there that I agree with. Again, going back to my original statement with Beckham, David needed to come into the new Berea, feel the environment, and then make some decisions. Once he got into Berea, guess what? David Njoku saw what was going on, which we had been witnessing all spring into the summer, where you could feel there's a good vibe going in.
Yeah.
Give it a chance. Give it a chance to get in there. You're right about Rosenhaus. He really misplayed this on top of a COVID-19 2020 season. It's not going to be easy to move players as it once was. By the way, it may not be easy for the players to move. Why would you want to change? If there's an organization that seems to be ready to go and is running well-oiled, and then you're traveling from another team where you don't know the situation, you don't know the town, and you're going through new experiences. This is not going to be, again, I mentioned this. The days in the football where it's lower end, obviously, in the roster, but you can see all sorts of like roster pickup signings, all that. Jared, I don't know if you're going to see that as much this year because it's not going to be as easy for, and by the way, baseball, it's been so much lighter than usual for obvious reasons. I think football is going to be the same. So all that to be said, and most importantly, let's say none of this happened. Njoku, you have a chance to play in 2 tight end offense. You're going to be playing in a brand new style that saw Kirk Cousins really roll out. You have a chance to really play well in a good system. Why not? Why not give it one last shot? All that to be said, I am happy, even though I really doubt Njoku still. I'm happy for Njoku because I think this gives him a chance to really turn around. Again, I'm doubtful. I've not seen it yet from Njoku once. So I'm holding big reserves here. I will say if he's ever going to turn around, no, this is where you start. Let's see it. And by the way, I'm glad he didn't go on many other things. He just said it once on Twitter and is ready to move on.
Yeah, he wasn't pushing. He didn't dig in his heels.
No,
that's a really good sign.
There are some signs here. Again, all that to be said, I'm realistic. He has a long, in my opinion, still a long road to go. But we'll take it. We'll take it. The other big news that came out this weekend was Landry is on the PUP list. But the positive about that is he's going to be ready to go back to the season. According to Jake Trotter, no setback, still on schedule to return from offseason surgery. Brown's conducting physicals this weekend, which was this past weekend. Today's Monday the 3rd, so that was on the 1st and 2nd. For veterans who passed 3 rounds of COVID testing last week, Landry has said he'd be hoping and expecting to get cleared sometime during training camp before the start of the season. So everything's on track. He is on the PUP list, but it's not PUP delayed. It's PUP on track.
Yeah,
which is
none of
good.
that. None of that worries me whatsoever.
No.
It doesn't even worry me if he doesn't walk out onto the field until game one, because I'm not worried about his focus. I'm not worried about how much of a connection he's going to have with Baker. They've already established that, and that's the one that they've been able to maintain over time here. So Jarvis is going to be ready. We know that Jarvis is going to be ready. We'll see what kind of
one of the leaders
he has,
of the team.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I love that guy. Love that guy.
Yes.
Love that guy. On the sad news front, Jamie Gillian, the Scottish Hammer, did get COVID-19. He's been put on the list. The Browns cannot announce this. So for people who are wondering why isn't there quotes from Stefanski or anybody else in the organization, they can't comment on it. So you're not going to really see anything more than just, he's out. You're not going to hear anybody confirm that he has it. So if you're looking for those kind of quotes or those kind of statements, you're not going to see it from him or Hilliard or Moffitt or anybody else in the Browns this year.
Right.
Who might contract this. So the bigger question is, you hope Jamie Gillian's okay. And then on the field, Jared, you do have to start wondering who is backup plan in case Gillian's not ready. It's obviously way too far out in advance to come out. We're only on August 3rd today on a Monday. You have lots of time between now and September before the Baltimore game, but you do have to curious to wonder if Gillian's not ready, who is ready to come out to take the Scottish Hammer's place? It's a curious question. Not something that needs to be answered today, but just curious.
We had a guy.
We did. We had a guy. I saw some rumors. Jared's going to love this. Did you see the rumors about cyber punting? That's the reaction I was looking for. Yeah, I don't know if I want cyber punting. That was the rumors I heard too.
Meet the new Browns. Same as the old Browns.
Just practice your kicking. Practice and field goal kicking. Don't worry about the punting thing.
Well, let's hope that Jamie Gillen's okay. And we all know he's the type of dude that walks around downtown Cleveland, grabs an awesome, grabs a nice local beer and sucks it down with the folks that are there and has a good time. So I think he'll be all right. He fits right in. He's always been a gets us guy. So
he's totally Clevelander through and through.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, July 29th, the Browns announced Drew Forbes, and Drake Dorbeck. I've never heard of Dorbeck.
Drake Dorbeck.
Clearly, I have him on my mind. Have been placed in the reserve opt-out list. So they are done. You'll see them in 2021. Jamal Moore, hamstring. He's placed on the non-football injury list. We'll see what happens there. Hopefully he's okay. That is not a COVID-19 related thing. He's just injured right now. Other roster moves, if you know these guys, congrats. Tony Brown, Jermaine Grace, George Obana, Justin Zimmer. They all have been cut. That's trimming the roster to 80. It's interesting. The Browns are already trimming the roster down when it could still be more beefed up, but that is what it is. Stefanski spoke to the press on Thursday. The biggest thing that came out of this press conference to me, again, these press conferences are not like Kitchens or Hugh Jackson or Dorsey. These are a lot more tamed and methodical. The big announcement, though, which I thought was a great question, is how is play calling going to go? Because play calling was supposed to be for preseason games. Obviously, that's not happening. So Stefanski said, in so many words, he has a plan in place, and he's not going to announce it, but will announce it when the time is right. So, the question that we've talked about here on the show, and we'll bring it up real quickly, so is it Van Bellen Stefanski? I mean, my gut reaction to something like that is I think it's Stefanski now. I've mentioned this on this program. I am done trying to guess who the fuck should call plays. I just want to win games. The only thing I'll say in this kind of season with all these questions and everything going on and seeing how large of a staff Stefanski has, I think we're going in a direction Stefanski is going to be calling plays. I'd be kind of actually surprised if Van Pelt gets the nod.
Well, we didn't bring Stefanski in here because, you know what? He's here partly because of his offense. I mean, that's.
I know where you're going. We've seen some backfiredness from this.
The
only thing I'll say is this team feels more prepared, and he has a very large staff. So because of that, it makes you feel like Stefanski has a better overall feel for what's going to happen. So because of that, I'm okay with this. I'm not in love with it, but I'm okay with it. And honestly, I don't know if they have a choice because there's no games, no preseason games. Sorry.
Well, I'm with you in the fact that I don't give a shit when. I don't care. I don't fucking care.
Yep.
I don't care if
when the fucking
if Jarvis Landry's calling plays. I don't care 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 if Jarvis Landry's I mean,
Yeah.
I probably would care a little bit about
That'd be
that.
interesting,
But
though.
As
That'd be
long as
interesting.
but as long as it'd be very interesting. As long as they're winning. As long
Yeah, who cares?
Air raid. We got an air raid offense. That's what I'm curious about.
Have
Air
we
raid,
done any bubble screens? No blocking properly.
bubble screens? Yeah. Plays behind the line of scrimmage. All plays begin behind the line of scrimmage.
Odell Beckham, you're very fast down the field. We're going to slow you the fuck down. We're going to throw the ball. We're going to throw the ball about 1 yard all the way across the field and have no one ready to go. Okay. All that to be said, Stefanski says there's a plan in place for plan calling that will be announced at a later time. The other comments that are interesting from this were the following on Wills being ready with no preseason reps. Quote, the plan has not changed with him starting left tackle. He also made a big point that, he will be ready through practicing all that. So for people who are wondering, unless it's going to take an injury, Wills is your starting left tackle. Don't waver on that. He is your guy. No preseason games. He's it. And that's dicey.
Wild, isn't it? That's wild. Dicey. We do not know what's going to happen. That is dangerous. It is scary. Baker is going to have to be wide awake. And hopefully Wills knows what's on his plate.
There's always a thinness on every team. There's no question. It's left tackle, Wills or bust. There is no plan B or C, D.
Oh, man.
Folks, this is the only thing on this team. I do not see a backup plan.
Yep.
It's either Wills or we're fucked.
Yep.
There is no – because the next thing you're going to start seeing is like, well, we're going to move Jack Coughlin's a left tackle. You're going to start hearing all sorts of weird shit.
That's all right. I mean, we've been fucked. We've been fucked long enough. So
punting and left tackle. Those are the only two positions that seem a little thin.
We don't have to punt. That's the thing. Don't punt. Don't worry about it. Don't punt. Don't worry about it.
Fourth and 10, your own 10, go for it. We're not one. No one's gonna care.
Fuck it.
We will never complain about that kind of call.
No, go for it every time, all the time.
It's like a video game.
I thought I could score twice before the end of the half.
While the Arizona Cardinals are marching down the field, I'm going to turn my back to the field to communicate to my offense about what has been going on wrong. By the way, I will do that throughout multiple games throughout the year because I have no idea what's going on behind me. The other big thing that he talked about was, and his big phrase throughout, is abundance of caution. The Browns talk like a very new team because a new coach is usually like, we're going to try to move fast. We're going to try to do a lot in a short amount of time. Here's Stefanski. Slow ramp up. We will not do too much too fast. And then, basically alluding to make sure we are to stay safe. Stefanski is really saying less is more, which I actually think is the proper call here because there are no preseason games. This is a COVID-19 year. It will be interesting to see because that is usually not the remarks you hear from a new head coach or any head coach. We're doing a lot. We're getting a lot done. You won't even believe, man, we're chopping bread over here. We're slicing and dicing over here. You don't even know how much we're getting done. The Browns is, hey, we are slow ramping this up. We are going to be ready to go, but we are not going too fast. It's interesting, Jared. You never hear that, coach. Never. When have you ever heard we're going to slow this shit down? It's interesting. I kind of like it. Can't believe I'm saying that. I kind of like it.
I don't know what to think. I don't know. I just have a good warm and fuzzy.
I do too.
About the overarching themes, overarching, I don't know, tone that I'm hearing out of Berea, out of this coaching staff, out of players for the most part.
By the way,
minus something else earlier today.
Speaking, don't no more Wall Street Journal articles. But let me ask you this: why
the Wall Street fucking Journal? By the way.
Anyway. Oh, but I had to fucking pay for that today. But anyways, I paid for it. I bought it. I'm happy. I'm canceling in 12 weeks.
Thank you.
I'm happy. I love it.
You can take advantage of some good stuff.
I might have copied
that article is not one of them. I'm not trying to beat up on who. I didn't even read who wrote the article.
I think it was
I'm not beating up on that person, but it just did not feel like.
Anyways, we relived it.
It was more or less like, look at me. I talked to Odell. My buddy, I bet I can write a better article out of what my buddy talked to Odell about at that bar in Vegas.
If anybody's curious to wonder if he likes coffee, he kind of likes coffee. That was one of the main talking points.
He sold T-shirts and donated money, and he's going to sell more.
That was cool. And the coffee one was the other one that stuck out to me. He kind of likes coffee.
Yeah, he kind of likes coffee, but not really. And it doesn't really do what he thinks it's going to do. It doesn't like get him going. And Call of Duty is the best video game ever.
Yes. God, I don't play any of these games. I feel such like a loser.
I mean, I love the original. I love the old Call of Duty. The Modern Warfare series, original series was great. That I played that shit in Afghanistan. Ironically enough,
I play
in our downtime in the middle of a war. We like to play war games. That's
amazing. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. I'm a poker, rummy.
Oh, play a lot of poker.
Euchre. I play this new game called 21 online. Blackjack, craps, spades, hearts. Play them all.
You ever play? There's a game with dice. What's that dice game we play?
Yahtzee.
Farkle.
I've heard of Farkle.
Yeah, you just.
It's actually popular in New England. I played it once at a Super Bowl party. I like
Farkle. I like Farkle.
Farkle could be fun. Yeah. JC Treader gave a great article. It's on NFLPA.com. JC has been as we alluded to earlier, he's been very cautious about the season. I thought he did a great job explaining what, and the article was titled "Why We Want to Play." I thought it really well explained what he was trying to do, about how they're excited going to the season, the pillars of why they got here, about why they want to play. I thought it really was great because of this reason. JC had been pushing the brakes, shouting out concerns, which I thought were very appropriate, about why this season's happening. I thought this article really well explained, hey, we are playing and here's why. And I thought, and he also explained that we want to play hashtag Twitter Storm that happened before the agreement. I thought JC, I'll tell you, I've been blown away by him this offseason. I really like him. He is very intelligent, very smart, and is a great NFLPA president. Great. I don't remember any of the NFLPA presidents. I remember him. He has been fantastic. Take the time, read the article. That I came off really good. There's a bunch of new stuff going on in the Browns, inside the Browns locker room. You can read about all that. I thought we might go into it, but
you can just simply take the fact that they were able to get the NFL and the owners to drop the fucking preseason games as evidence enough that he's doing a hell of a job.
No, by the way, and put in protocols. This is the basketball too, to a point. But I thought the NFLPA more. Everyone understood and reasons why they were moving forward. Even in basketball, there's a little bit, you hear Kyrie Irving and some other players, and there's players that are dropping out too for the NFL, but you're not hearing questioning about what's going on now. In baseball, oh my gosh, questions daily. Well,
MLBPA, take notes, which is strange because I did not really expect to say that about the NFL. And not because of the Players Association necessarily, but because the NFL is usually loves to drag not only their heels, but their knuckles. Regarding stuff like this, very reactionary. This is very proactive of the NFL. And JC Treader, I think, gets a lot of credit for that. And, of course, everyone else behind the scenes working with them to try to get this stuff going and do it in a safe way.
Treader, we're not in those rooms, you and I aren't, but from afar, it looks like he's doing a great job. Yeah. Last Browns note, Chris Hubbard did a great thing. He has partnered with the youth development organization 4-H to help teenagers struggling with mental health in the coronavirus pandemic. I thought this was a great thing. Hubbard's been very outspoken about the mental health on this. I think this deserves a nod. The Browns, for a lot of years, on and off the field, have just been through so much sludge and so much negativity. The JC Treaders, even though I love Beckham still, I wasn't in love with that article, but I still love him. Yeah. But the Chris Hubbards and all the, Landry's been doing a lot on the community. My God, Myles Garrett's been doing a lot in the community. There's a lot more of this team to what Jared alluded to 10 minutes ago, where you feel very good about the season, and people like Chris Hubbard too are doing it. The mental health aspect of this, I give him so much kudos. The Browns are tackling this from every level at times. I just want to give him a shout out. I'm a big mental health proponent, and I thought that was so cool for Mr. Hubbard. All to be said, There's nothing really goes on in the field until next week, so it's going to be more testing and hearing things coming out. All the testing's done, I should say. I'm sorry. So more things ramping up. But as you heard Stefanski said, I don't think there's going to be a lot of Browns news because they are taking it slow going into basically next week. Starting on the 10th and really on the 12th, they start really going on the field. So nothing for another good 7 to 9 days. All to be said, there is another team in Cleveland who's playing. If you consider that with their bats, let's talk about our Cleveland Indians. Well, I just have to say, I have been so into baseball, and then the Twin Series happened. And I am usually never one to complain about this. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were painful games.
Hard to watch.
I mean,
hard to watch.
Falling asleep, drifting. Look, it's obvious. This team has got a serious offensive funk. And it is, yes, early, 10 games in, but let's just read off some of these stats. They're really bringing in focus here. 1 run in 21 innings, 2 runs in 33 innings, 4 runs in 49 innings. That was provided by Fox Sports Ohio last night. 4 hitters are above 200 right now. 4, Jared, 4. J-Ram, Hernandez, who those two are batting well. They're at 333 and 303. Hernandez has had a really good season. Zimmer's 250. Lindor's at 225. Folks, that's it. That's it. You have 4 guys who are batting above 200. The Tribe is 29th in slugging. They are 24th in home runs. Oh, and by the way, the Marlins and Cardinals have just as many home runs as the Indians do. The Marlins have 5. The Indians have 6. The Marlins have only played 3 games. The Cardinals have 6. They haven't played a game in 4 or 5 days. This team's offensive stuff, I mean, I can go on and on and on. I will say the outfield in this DH position is where I'd start on this. Mercado's concerning. He's only batting 80. Domingo Santana's done nothing. He's had a couple good at-bats against the Royals, and that's about it. And Reyes, I mean, he had a great spring, but my gosh, nothing's carried over. Jared, I mean, I'll toss it to you.
This better be short-lived, Andy. Otherwise, this season is going to disappear really quickly, and that'll be that. At least that's, maybe that's the blessing behind it all. Is it'll be a shortened season, and we won't have to be put through the pain of it. But here's the fucking deal, Andy. We asked this question. Where is this? Where are these issues coming from?
I mean,
these are not bats that should be doing this poorly. These are not bats that don't have the experience or should not be putting up better numbers. That outfield, I thought we had it figured out.
I was wrong.
I
was wrong. I was wrong about that.
Isn't that unfucking believable?
Who had Zimmer on their bingo card being the best outfield hitter? I mean, by the way, far.
We didn't even think he was going to make the roster, possibly.
By the way, he is by far the best hitter. He's not in the lineup tonight. By the way, Greg Allen's in there. Greg, you need to get a hit. You have got to start hitting. He's batting 9th. He has got to get a hit tonight.
I don't understand. Is it a Twins issue?
Well, part of it is the Twins, but Jared, we've seen this on Tito Francona teams. This is one of those early season funks.
They can't do it though. We don't have it.
And by the way, let's stomp this out right now. I don't want to hear any more bullshit about the fucking cold and this team can't hit. This is a thing that's been going on for this club for too damn long, and here we are again. The only thing that's good about this is the Tribe.
Cold.
Oh my god! I mean, the Tribe has been 5-5. I don't know how they're 5-5. I know how they're pitching. I'm sorry,
because their pitching puts out the same fucking numbers that you just read statistically regarding us. Regarding the offense, 1 run, 21 innings, 2 runs, 33. I mean, that's very in line with the way that the pitching staff is done. Now, granted, Clevenger's had his issues, and there have been some rough times there. But
let's get to him real quick. Clevenger is a good pitcher who is not in his zone.
Nope,
and he is way too cocky. I mean, some of the stuff I saw, I'm way too cocky.
He needs to stop that shit.
I mean. He going on Twitter and getting on a Twitter fest with Bauer before the game. By the way, Bauer's not even pitching against us, so all that was for naught.
Good.
Gets in his Twitter battle with him, saying shit, which is fine. I mean, whatever. But then you get bashed like that. And by the way, I'll give him credit. He made it through as long as he did. He actually pitched almost 100 pitches, so he survived through it.
He did survive it, but man, but it was an uphill battle after that first inning. Andy,
he's off. I mean, he even said it after the game. He's off. Going back to
no control. It looks like he can't place the ball whatsoever.
And by the way, I want to go back to the hitting now for real quick, and we'll get to the positive pitching. But let's go to hitting again.
Yeah.
How in the hell is Mike Freeman batting 5th? Is that where we're at? When I saw that lineup come out on Sunday, I was like, Mike Freeman's batting 5th? Is that where we're reaching right now? Mike Freeman? Jared, I mean, I'm hearing these straws. Well, Naquin's coming back. It's like, oh my God.
Oh, don't
here we
listen.
go.
I'm tired of that.
Here we go.
Naquin's been coming back for 3 years now, by the way, Andy.
Again, nothing against the guy. I know where Jared's getting from. I didn't agree with what Jared's alluding to on this.
Is Grady Sizemore coming back too?
Well, right. By the way, it was his birthday the other day. Happy birthday.
Birthday.
Fellow Leo to Leo. But look, all that to be said, I just by the way, Grady's Ladies. That was one of the biggest, funnest.
Grady's Ladies.
That was fun. That was fun.
Better than the Brohio squad.
By the way, I have a picture of Nick Swisher. He's a nice guy. I like Brohio.
I know, Nick.
I
think he got beat up a little bit more than he needed to.
Yeah. I like him. Anyways, back to Naquin's not going to save this. Okay. Like this is like, I heard Jensen Lewis say this on the post game on Sunday, and I'm going to allude to it. And this is the biggest thing to me. And it's so obvious. Too much individualizing. And yes, in baseball, we know that happens because it's a batter and a pitcher. But let's get this more into a team. Lindor, J-Ram, Santana, Carlos Santana. Someone needs to be, hey, we got this. It's okay. Let's work. Like Lindor, I love that he's saying,
it's hard to put it on Lindor, but Lindor is already putting it too much on himself. And I think that's the issue. Why is Lindor pressing so hard? He's swinging at shit. He is swinging at shit.
Carlos Santana is more alarming to me. Carlos Santana looks terrible. Jared, he looks terrible. He's flipping the bat on Sunday. He's so lost. And Reyes does not look good in 4 or 5 games.
Well, it takes a reset, but they've got to do it. And I don't know. You're not going to get it now. You're not going to get it now because Tito's not there.
Well, Tito's not coming back till Wednesday.
Right. Tito's got his stuff. I feel terrible for Tito because he's got to be so uncomfortable and dealing with that. I can only imagine how that's feeling for him. So I hope.
And people are joking, and he can take a joke, obviously. But I feel for Francona too. And let's just say this: he had to go to Cleveland Clinic to check it out.
Yeah. Listen, I've got friends who have dealt with these issues that are
painful,
that have had parts of themselves removed. It's not. We joke, but it's not a joking matter. No. I really hope Tito's okay. I can only imagine how uncomfortable and how pissed off and frustrated he probably is.
It's
having to deal with this and not wanting to go to the Cleveland Clinic because you're like, no, you're already immunocompromised. I don't want to go there.
How about this too?
It's just so much to worry about.
Because I know a friend of mine too, and she's gone through it. It is painful. Yeah. So you just hope that something like that he'll be okay in the long run. Back to the painfulness that is the tri-bats. The other thing too, I keep hearing from people is like, well, it's the bottom lineup, and that's fair. And by the way, the numbers say so. Forget Hernandez and J-Ram; those two are fine. Lindor, he'll figure it out. I'll say this though: after 3, Carlos Santana hasn't done. Except for 1 home run against the White Sox, done nothing. Reyes, we kept hearing about in spring. He's got to start doing it. He has got to start doing it. Domingo Santana was supposed to be the big power lineup. He had a miserable series in Minnesota. I feel that we all loved Mercado last year. Mercado is so off. It's bad. Jared, there's so many fires in here. I think every night Bradley Zimmer needs to play. I think Yu Chang needs to get some more at bats.
Oh,
I think Daniel John. Honestly, if this guy Allen's supposed to be that good, who's back in Lake County or wherever I forget where they're stationed, bring him up. Like we are at that point.
Well, we're at the
Bradley,
point.
Get in there, go, try to hit.
We're at the point where you can start making those moves, see if any of these plug and plays work, and roll with it. And if they don't, give them the experience nonetheless. Fuck it. I'd at least have some fun watching them develop and figure it out. I don't know. I just didn't. Andy, I know it just bums me out that they're even in this position right now that they lost 3 in a row to Minnesota. That plus the bats having the issue. It's not just the fact that the bats they're struggling. It's that not only are the bats struggling, but you just lost 3 in a row to the team that's going to take the division if you don't figure it the fuck out.
Twins are a machine. That team's good. They were good last year too. Here's the positive about all this. This pitching is very legit. I think the Indians can, outside of Bieber's standing on his head on fire. Standing his head on fire right now. This pitching, Clevenger can pitch much better. Carrasco can pitch much better. Savali could pitch better. This team pitching can get better than what I'm seeing. Karinchak, let's just go there now. On Wednesday night, an event happened that needed to happen to the Cleveland Indians. We love him.
Yeah.
He's a nice man.
Yeah.
Brad Hand had a bit of a boo-boo in the ninth inning. Yeah. Lost the game. That's okay. That's okay. We love Brad Hand. If you can hear this, Brad, we love you.
Seriously.
We think so much of you. It is time to let Wild Thing Part 2, James Karinchak, get the ball tonight. We appreciate everything you've done. You're going to enjoy the sixth inning. You're going to talk to Oliver Perez. He loves the sixth inning. Simber, all these guys. It is time to put Karinchak in the ninth.
Less pressure in the sixth.
You'll love it. You'll love it. You'll love it, the sixth inning. But it's time.
Brad Hand might thrive in the sixth inning.
Oh my God, you'll love it. There's nothing better.
Come out for a batter in the seventh.
There's nothing better coming in a 5-2 game when you're down 3 runs, you're throwing the sixth. You're gonna love it. But it's time for James Karinchak to take over the ninth. Yeah. More Cam Hill later in the games. Whitgren's great, Boilermaker, pitching great. But the days of Brad Hand in the ninth, Jared, like the bottom of this lineup, take care. It was a great run last year. You cannot have Brad Hand from here on out in the ninth inning. Yeah. Am I being too mean?
No. I thought we already had this discussion last week.
We did. It's just time to we again.
Like
we had to see it.
It is what it is.
We had to take it in. He cost us a game, kind of. And by the way, the Indians didn't score any runs.
Well, that was the beauty of it. You weren't stealing it. You weren't taking a win away from Bieber.
The Indians had
the
no
right
chance.
time to do that.
Again, he had a boo-boo. We needed that to happen. Time for him to leave. Now, back to the team on the field. The Indians pitching. Here, I want to give you the good stats. I gave you the bad stats. Now the good stats. They're first in Major League Baseball in WHIP. They are first in strikeouts. They are second in ERA. By every standard, if you go to any kind of baseball, what stats you like to, the Indians are clearly the number one pitching staff. Yeah. Relievers and starters.
Oh, which is even better. Listen, so let's say here, listen, 1 through 9, do me a favor. You don't have to get to the top of it. You just have to be middle of the road. You just have to be middle of the road.
So here's my positivity thought for this.
That's it. You don't, Andy, you only need to win. You only need
3 or 4 runs.
3 or 4 runs. That's it.
That's it. As the Indians are about ready to throw the first pitch here in Cincy. So to wrap this whole thing up, I think everything's okay.
Let's wrap it up. I want to watch because they better fucking win tonight.
They are 5-5. Everything's okay though.
Yep.
But am I pushing the panic button on hitting?
My fingers on the button. It's on the button.
It's there. It's there too for me.
It's on the button,
but a Shane Bieber she is fantastic. Please back on the mound tonight. Let's see what happens next time we do this podcast, because I get the feeling the pitching is gonna ride this team all year. And I mean, I will say this: oh my God, the hitting can't get any fucking worse.
Which is good. It's good. It can't get any worse.
We've seen the low. We've seen the low.
It can't last for weeks.
Oh, it can't last. Jared.
It might last for weeks.
Jared.
It feels like it might last for weeks, Andy.
Jared, I love watching Indians. I was so into it. Saturday was fine. On Sunday,
no.
I was definitely having one of those moments on Sunday
where
I was like,
hard to watch.
I was definitely having moments on Sunday where I'm like, oh fuck, what's going on in the game? Because the Indians kept striking out.
Insane.
It's insane. All right. Tribe this week got the Reds, 2 at home. They start off in Cincy, then 2 at home, and then they go to the South Side for 3, and we'll see what happens there. By the way, the Chi Sox, Anderson out, and the Chi Sox, number 1 team in hitting in baseball, Chicago White Sox. Keep that in mind.
Hey, you brought up Tigers not playing tonight. I was looking at my phone for a second there. Did you
Cardinals and Tigers are canceled. It's a Cardinals thing. They're having a Miami Marlins breakout. There's a couple articles that mentioned that some of the Cardinals Marlins have been rumored to be out of bars in Atlanta, and the stories that are coming out in St. Louis are that the Cardinals have been seen. Some of the Cardinals were seen at a casino before the outbreak happened. St. Cardinal. Whether those stories are true or not will be up to the people who want to dive down those roads. But there's a lot of stories coming out about the Cardinals being seen at a casino before the outbreak.
I seen it. They were there. I didn't see it. I'm sure somebody did, though.
So,
well, shit. Let's talk about another group of adults, young adults, who are more likely to be seen at the fucking bars, and that's college football players. Andy, I'm sorry. I'm going to say it again before we even get into this. College football, if it happens, it's going to be a shit show. There's no way that this is able to that anyone's going to be able to pull this off. Period.
So here's the latest.
Zero confidence. Zero. None.
The Big Ten has not made a decision yet. They've even warned universities that they may not still play, but the Big Ten is going to come to a decision. They have to this week, so they're going to come to a decision this week. The ACC, my Irish, are going to be playing in the league this year. NBC contract going into the ACC pool of money. So the ACC will be having 10 games this year. They tried to play cross-conference games, but the SEC, who came out their announcement last Thursday, said no, there will be no. So no Georgia Tech, no Florida State, no South Carolina Clemson. All those games will not be happening because the SEC said nope. They're going to be playing a 10-game conference schedule only that won't start until the 26th. So the SEC's on. The Big 12 is meeting tonight, Monday, the 3rd of August, to determine what they're going to do. No announcement yet. They've had all sorts of rumors going out there about what they're going to do. And then the Pac-12 said we are going to play, but the players, which I thought was one of the best things I've seen, were really united. These are different schools. These are unplayed student athletes uniting together with the hashtag We Are United, talking about things that they want to see change before they get onto the field. And it's a great article. It's on the Players Tribune. I would suggest reading it. And the Pac-12, really well-organized, well-mission statement by these student athletes. Kudos. Cheers. Great job.
I'm going to back these students all fucking day. I don't want any of them to get sick. We just had, and I apologize because I don't have the name in front of me and I need to pull this up, but I know I saw the article. There is a Major League Baseball player who has recovered from COVID but has heart issues now due to COVID and will not play the rest of the season. Yeah. Shit is real.
Yep.
And it affects young people. I'm sorry. I'm tired of hearing that it doesn't. It does.
Well, that's been proven.
And so, Andy, I just don't. You can come out with all the things that you want changed and all this and that and great and play, within conference only. And Andy, it just does not. These campuses are already having trouble keeping outbreaks from spreading. Within frats and sororities. They're going to force it. They're going to try to force it because there's so much fucking money involved.
Well,
there's so much fucking money involved.
Well, they're going forward. I mean, I got to be honest. The biggest thing that I heard from reporters, multiple, was some student athletes who was also reporting how badly they want to play.
Of course they do. They're kids. Of course. I would want to play too, though, Andy. That doesn't mean that they should.
No,
it's
Jared,
easy. It's easy to convince a young dumb kid to go out on a football field and play football. I'm sorry, it is.
Look. I think this is. I hear what you're saying. These are adults. It's impossible.
Adults should be making better decisions for that. These are adults. I gotcha, but listen, the brain doesn't fully develop until you're 24, 25 years old.
Well, again,
I'm sorry, Andy.
Again, it's look, I think
it's a terrible idea.
I think this is
go and fucking do it. I think it's a terrible idea.
I think these games should be played in the spring too. I think it'd make a lot more sense. All that to be said. So the ACC's all in, Notre Dame's playing. SEC's all in starting on 26th. Pac-10, boy, talk about how dated I am. Pac-12 is in, except for the players, so they're going to have to figure that out. The Big 12 doesn't know what they're going to do. They're going to decide tonight on Monday the 3rd. And the Big 10, who was the first one to say no more non-conference games in 2020, has been the last conference to decide. And there's a lot of rumors coming out that they're still unsure if they're going to go forward or not. Can you imagine a football season where there's no Buckeyes, no Wolverines, no Michigan State, No Purdue, my Boilermakers. And there'll be all these other conferences playing. That would be really weird.
Yeah, I can imagine it. I can.
It's in play.
I can. And I'll be honest with you.
It's in play.
I will have no problem with looking around. Well, I will have a problem with it because it's sad that these are just the decisions that are being made.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting that happens.
I don't understand, Andy, why it would be so hard to bump this to the spring.
I agree. I what Jared's saying.
And then and then all your money is just in purgatory until you play in the spring.
Here's my last comment.
Fucking sighted.
I thought that there was a bowl committee member person who spoke out about this today. And I sat to myself and I'm like, they still think there's going to be all these bowl games this year. That is fascinating, and they do. I think college football is going to ramp up. I will say this again, though. There is still a lot to figure out here. Even with just keeping it in conference, that they're going to do that. Which I agree, Jared. I think they should be playing in the spring. I think it'd be best for everyone. But okay, they're not. All right. But if they go full, all these teams do, and then they play bowl season, oh my God. Wow.
These kids play in the spring, they rest up for the summer, and then they play again in the fall. I guarantee they're young enough. I would rather them put themselves through that than risk their lives or their family members' lives, contracting COVID, going home, getting people sick, all that shit. But you know what? Fuck it. Do what you want. SEC doesn't surprise me. SEC.
There's an interesting article on ESPN.com about the history of college football that was done over the weekend. They talk about the Spanish flu. And by the way, they played in 1918. So they talk about the battles with that. Now, obviously, teams had a lot more country. I mean, you want to talk about the schedule. Notre Dame, I guess, only played 5 games. Was it 6 or 5 games? And one of the games, they played Wabash, and they decided to play that day. And they played later on that afternoon. So it just tells you. They played. Their point is they played through that. Can they play through this? Look, there's a lot more opinions about college football than I could ever imagine. It is, it's funny. All these other professional sports, and for probably good reasons, a lot more funneled. Even when there's differences, it's funneled. In college football,
it's a different beast.
It is a different beast. Real quickly, we'll talk about this more. I want to see what the Big Ten decides. I think that's interesting that there's rumors coming out they may not play. That's it. I think that's interesting. First year commissioner, by the way, for that week. No more Delaney. So new commissioner in charge. One quick thought. I have watched a few of the games. I have really enjoyed the NBA too. I love how they just keep playing games all day. Play has been very hard. Play has been intense. I watched the Lakers-Clippers game. I watched the Rockets-Dallas game. I watched a little bit more. I watched, the Pelicans look terrible. They played the Clippers. Not for today, but I really want to go down the Pelicans path next year because everybody applauded them, and I love Griff. He's such a good man. Everybody's applauding him for all those decisions they made. Boy, that is – I think it's going to be a big year for the Pelicans next year, COVID or no COVID. Anyways, sorry to continue. The NBA has been very good. I know the ratings haven't been so hot. I think it's probably because of the regular season. And people are wondering. I know I've not watched it. I heard the NHL has been very competitive too. The NBA has been very good. And when they're playing games, MLB baseball, up until Friday night when the Indians couldn't hit, has been good. Friday night, I don't remember anything.
I'll admit I haven't watched any of it. I check out highlights. I saw the Isaacs injury.
Poor kid.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
I see the awful jokes that come from that too. I'm not a big fan of that.
Oh my God, terrible. By the way, the Bucks, Raptors, good games. Celtics, it's all been fun. Like I gotta admit,
I see the virtual fan stuff. I think that's kind of silly.
That's weird.
I mean, I don't hate it. I think it's hilarious. It's I think it's on brand for NBA though.
How about baseball having fans in the stands in Fox games and the fans stand up? It's like a video. Those bad.
I think I missed some of those. I don't think I saw that.
It's
what a strange fucking world we live in. But Andy, I will watch playoff basketball more than likely. I just don't have any investment right now.
By the way,
I have no investment.
I see. There you go. This is my last point. I just want to, and I'm done with the NBA. I've enjoyed it. I really, even though they would be stinking, we all know that. I really miss watching the Cavs.
Yeah,
it stinks in our part, and they've earned it. Their record sucked. Yeah. I wish they were playing now. I was going to say, I know where Jared's going with this. No Cavs does not make this fun.
Well, this feels like a strange show. I got to be honest. This whole show just feels weird between Odell and the Indians not hitting and college football and just COVID. This is a very strange feeling episode. I don't know if you got that same vibe, Andy, but that's how I'm feeling leaving this one. We're brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out. Original Cleveland Sports Reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Also, don't forget, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Cleveland and Beyond. On Twitter, at CLE and Beyond, at CLE and Beyond. And you can email us at andyandjared@gmail.com, andyandjared@gmail.com. Got to drive all the way over to Cleveland to take my wife to a little birthday celebration, socially distanced, outside eating. Very strange to be up there. It was kind of a rainy on and off weekend for folks who are in Cleveland and understand that. And the Cleveland Zoo is still amazing. Haven't been there for 20 years. And all of us, of course, wearing our masks and walking around outdoors. I feel safe doing the outdoor thing. So I was proud to be able to go up there and see things. I will say this, though, too. I didn't realize how devastated some of these businesses have been due to the riots. The protests that had turned into riots, and even Heinen's is still not open. That threw me through a loop because we usually go up there and grab a bunch of groceries and throw them in our hotel room, and we weren't able to do that this time around. So really, I just got all of these businesses in my mind and thinking about getting everything back on track for Cleveland. Not only do they have COVID to deal with, but the social unrest that came from a lot of pent up issues that have not been handled in the correct way over time, and we understand that. And I even talked to some folks who weren't even necessarily mad, that work in the businesses that are going, this was avoidable, and it was avoidable if, certain things had been done by not necessarily the protesters, but the other side. And so that's an ongoing issue that stays with me. And it did, though. It broke my heart to see Cleveland kind of beat up like that this weekend. But I know it'll be all right. I know everything will be okay. I just couldn't believe, because I didn't realize it got that bad downtown Cleveland, and I guess it did.
Cleveland will get itself back, as we all know, and we'll be there with brooms and everything else to help clean up. And it is sad to see that, though. Yeah. It is sad to see that.
Took me off. I mean, it was weeks. I mean, it was a while ago, and I hadn't been up there in a long time. So, it surprised me. It surprised me. It was another reminder of, this still isn't done, and this still isn't over. And you're right. It's not. And I hear you, and I'm still listening.
Rain delay in Cincy, so we did not break up anything. What a surprise. The way the Indians are going, they probably need a rain delay, rain out. So all that to be said, let's see if the Indians can get this hitting. I mean, again, I think you've seen the low. I mean, if we're going to go lower, holy shit. I mean, we've had, Saturday, 2 infield hits. Amazing. So all that to be said, I think the Indians can only go up from here. The pitching's fantastic. I still love OBJ. I didn't think the article was a good idea. I still love him. And I really do think college football is heading down an interesting path.
Hey, be safe. If you're on the East Coast like me, you got to worry about all the rain, and Andy as well. Actually, I don't know how much you're getting, but they're looking at 4.5 to 6 inches. By the way, we are in tropical storm zone. Although my house is way up on a hill, so it would have to flood like 60 foot to get up to where my house is. Annapolis is about to get hammered, though, and I'm like 20 minutes from Annapolis, so that's kind of a bummer for me.
We have tropical storm warnings. 2020 has been really fucked up. And why not have a tropical storm? So I'm parking my car underneath the awning, and I went to the store and bought lots of grapes to help with my new diet. And I have a lot of work to do, so it'll be a great day to do work inside. That's the way I look at it. Try to take the positives at times. Like, all right, you know what? I won't be distracted to go outside today, especially tomorrow. It's supposed to be awful. So yes, be safe out there. Go Tribe. Please take the Ohio Cup home. It is a big rivalry to me. It means everything. I'll wear a T-shirt. Ohio Cup champions. And we love you, Brad Hand, just not in the ninth. We love you. I love him. Not in the ninth.
Hit the
I want
fucking
Karen
ball.
check. I want Karen check. I
Hit
want
the
that
fucking
jersey.
ball. Hit the fucking ball.
I
Hit the
fucking
fucking
love
ball.
that he wears 99,
Hit
by
the
the way. How fucking cool is it that he wears 99 and comes out to the song Wild Thing?
Hit the fucking ball.
Oh,
It's cool. Hit the fucking ball. Need to wake bats up.
Can
Hit
we
the
just
fucking ball.
okay? One.
Oh my god! I was gonna log out. My finger is on the button.
So why can't this team just say, you know what, we're gonna start bunting? Because you know what, we are swinging and missing.
He's Andy Billman.
Why can't we just start bunting?
I'm Jared Watson.
I mean, if you're gonna swing and miss, you might as well bunt.
Andy
we're
Jared.
there with 2 infield hits on Saturday.
Cleveland and
Just
beyond.
bunt. Don't listen to anybody. Listen to me, Indians. Just bunt. If you're gonna play that, just bunt the ball. Be all right.
Talk again soon. Love you. Bye.
Just bunt.